Battle through the heavens. Core bead. Normally, it was called the core fire bead. It was a kind of energy bead formed from essence energy that was found deep underground after a countless number of years. This kind of bead contained an extremely vast, mighty energy within it. It was rumored that some Tier 8 or even Tier 9 medicinal pill would use this legendary core fire bead. This legendary core bead was usually hidden deep underground and was extremely difficult to find. However, when some volcanoes erupted, the core bead hidden deep within might be spat out. Normally speaking, most core beads in the hands of certain individuals were obtained by this method. It was extremely rare for someone to personally find this core bead deep underground like Xiao Yan just did. Xiao Yan's heart involuntarily beat a little faster when he saw this core bead. He similarly understood just how rare a core bead was. Moreover, the core bead was also a key ingredient in refining the core lightning bead. The core lightning bead was not a medicinal pill. Instead, it was a refinement that utilized an extremely unorthodox formula. It referred a kind of strange refining method to refine the core bead. If the refinement was a success, it would end up forming a core lightning bead. This thing could not be consumed by a person, but it possessed an extremely terrifying might. Even an elite Dou Zun would at least suffer serious injuries even if they did not die should they be struck head-on by this thing. If I am able to obtain it, it would end up being a kind of lethal trump card. Xiao Yan focused on the fiery red bead within the blood-red sticky energy. He mused for a moment before he was finally unable to endure the temptation in his heart. Wealth was found amid danger. It was worthwhile to take a little risk for a unique treasure like the core bead. Xiao Yan ceased hesitating as this thought flashed across his heart. A spiritual strength lingered over the blood-red-colored, sticky liquid. Although there was still some distance, the wild, violent energy contained in the liquid still caused some ripples form in Xiao Yan's spiritual strength. Xiao Yan ignored the slight ripple in his soul. His heart focused on that fiery red bead as he waited for the best opportunity to attack. After a visual inspection, Xiao Yan understood that the wild and violent energy within this sticky liquid had an intermittent strength and weakness. One could use the strength of the glow on its surface to identify the level of this strength. This cluster of blood-red, sticky liquid vaguely radiated a surging glow. Its intermittent brightness and darkness had become this bottomless hole's only source of light. Xiao Yan's spiritual strength lingered over this place like a poisoned snake and did not move. The invisible spiritual strength slowly wiggled. This silence continued for an unknown amount of time. Then, the repeatedly flashing fire glow on the sticky liquid's surface suddenly descended to its dimmest level. Qi. The moment this blood-red liquid suddenly became dim, the spiritual strength that lingered over it was like a leopard as it pounced toward its prey. It transformed into a lightning flash as it shot out. Puff! The speed of the spiritual strength was extremely terrifying. Within less than a breath's time, it had charged into the blood-red liquid. A slight puff sound appeared as the spiritual strength charged into it. Xiao Yan seemed to have barged into magma the moment his spiritual strength made contact with the sticky liquid. A searing hot feeling eroded toward the deepest parts of Xiao Yan's soul. Fortunately, he had the protection of the heavenly flame, so this kind of searing heat was unable to cause him much harm within a short period of time. Boom! The core bead had just charged out of this blood-colored sticky liquid, after being swept by Xiao Yan's spiritual strength, when the liquid seemed to have sensed something. A wave of frighteningly wild, violent energy transformed into a blood-colored flood as it chased after the fleeing spiritual strength with incredible speed. Xiao Yan felt the skin on his head turn numb after sensing the hot energy being transmitted from behind. If he were to be struck by the wild and violent energy within such a narrow space, it was likely that his soul would crumble on the spot. Immediately, he clenched his teeth and unleashed his speed to the limit. With a swoosh sound, he charged to the exit of the ground hole. Xiao Yan's speed was extremely fast. However, the blood-colored flood behind him was also similarly quick. It was following close behind as it rushed over. During this chase, the hole's exit at the top finally revealed some light. Xiao Yan braced his mind upon seeing this. He once again increased his speed. The next instant, he charged out of the narrow hole in the ground. The spiritual strength charged out of the hole in a lightning-like manner and entered the spot between Xiao Yan's eyes. The core bead was grabbed by Xiao Yan in his palm. Xiao Yan curled his hand after the soul returned to his body. A suction force surged out and the dark black stone tablet by the side immediately shifted over with a rumbling sound. After which, it swiftly covered the hole in the ground. Boom! The dark black stone tablet had just covered the hole when it violently trembled. However, this black stone tablet had clearly been made from an extraordinary material. It was able to block the attack of the wild, violent energy. Swish! Swish! While the stone tablet was blocking the attack, the rays of light around the altar suddenly shifted. After which, all of them landed on the stone tablet. The tablet was just like an extremely heavy crown as it firmly pressed on the hole. With the aid of the sunlight, the shaking of the stone tablet was slowly reduced. A moment later, it stopped. Xiao Yan, who was waiting solemnly by the side, finally sighed in relief after hearing the stone tablet become quiet. Immediately, his eyes revealed a strange expression as he gazed at this ancient tablet. It unexpectedly possessed a suppressing effect. That was really close. Xiao Yan wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead as he bitterly laughed. If his speed had been a little slower while he was within the hole earlier, it was likely that he could forget about obtaining the core bead. His soul might have even ended up suffering a serious injury. This is the core bead, huh? Xiao Yan gently clenched his hand. A hot feeling spread out of the core bead. By holding it, Xiao Yan was surprised to realize that the surrounding fire affinity energy seemed to be vaguely gathering around his body. A wild joy suddenly surged into Xiao Yan's eyes when he sensed the slight change in the surrounding energy. This core bead possessed the miraculous effect of attracting the surrounding fire affinity energy. Would he not end up being able to gain twice the benefit with half the effort when he trained in the future? It is worthy of being the core bead. It is indeed mysterious. Xiao Yan played with the fiery red bead in his hand. He involuntarily felt unwilling to put it down due to him liking it too much. The reward this time around was indeed great. Unfortunately, I cannot easily pull aside the stone tablet now. Nevertheless, without the sticky liquid blocking its path, the core fire seedling should appear once again. The speed it creates the sun fire should also increase. Xiao Yan played with the core bead for a moment before turning his head back to the stone tablet. He shook his head a little regretfully. Originally, he had planned to use the sun flame in this place to cultivate and strengthen the life-transforming flame fire seed. Just when Xiao Yan was regretfully sighing, a ray of light scattered down from the sky and coincidentally landed on the core bead in his palm. Puff! The fiery red core bead suddenly shook under the shining light. Immediately, a slight sound appeared. A dense white flame suddenly curled and rose from the core fire bead. The sudden, unexpected change caused Xiao Yan to be startled. He was just about to toss aside the flame in his hand as a reflex when he glanced at the core fire bead below this white-colored flame. His eyes immediately coagulated. This is the sun flame. How can it undergo such a transformation without the core fire seedling? Xiao Yan knit his brows. Immediately, he seemed to have thought of something and his fist suddenly smashed against his palm. That's right, This core bead has absorbed an unknown amount of core fire seedling over the years. That is why it has such a reaction after making contact with sunlight. It has turned into the source of this sun flame. In other words, as long as the energy within this core bead is not exhausted, it will be able to continuously create sun flames. I have really found a treasure this time around. Xiao Yan parted his mouth. At this moment it was really only too practical to obtain the core bead. Xiao Yan inhaled a couple of breaths and got himself to gradually calm down. He glanced at the little fairy doctor, whose lovely body was still seated without the slightest movement. After seeing that she was fine, he gradually nodded and sat down once again. He began to absorb the sun flame created by the core bead. With the core bead, the strengthening of the life-transforming flame was only a matter of time. Xiao Yan's entire mind was focused on absorbing the sun flame during the subsequent days. Amid this refinement where meals and rest were forgotten, the life-transformation flame within his body swiftly strengthened at a speed visible to the naked eye. 3 days passed by in a flash during this training. After seeing the snow that slowly fell over the entire city, there was finally someone who suddenly sensed something wrong. He leaped to high ground, looked out of the city, and immediately became stunned. One could see a countless number of white figures slowly surrounding the city and coming from all directions. These white figures were wearing a similar badge on their chests. It was a beautiful snow flower with a bone-piercing chill. Ice River Valley. A countless number of people within Yi City were stunned as they looked at the white figures that covered the area outside the city. Majestic and shockingly cold auras continuously surged out of the bodies of these people. Finally, they influenced the environment of Yi City. The descending temperature within the city and the scattering snowflakes were surprisingly a result of the majestic, cold aura. These are all people from the Ice River Valley. Why have they come to Yi City? Their lineup is this frightening. Don't tell me that they have come after the Yi clan. Nonsense, the Ice River Valley's status is far greater than the Yi clan or even all the 5 great clans. Why would they covet after the Yi clan? In that case, do you think that they summoned such a large force just to come to Yi City to play? Due to the sudden arrival of the Ice River Valley's large army, that had come from all directions, Yi City descended into a great uproar. They did not understand just what kind of person could get one of the 3 large valleys, the Ice River Valley, to head over with such a large force. Yi clan, hand over the woeful poison lady and her group. Otherwise, the Yi clan will be destroyed today. While the people in the city felt panic because of the cold air barrier that had suddenly formed, a faint elderly voice was slowly transmitted throughout the city, spurred on by powerful Dou Qi. Finally, it clearly resounded beside everyone's ears. Woeful Poison Lady. They are here because of the Woeful Poison Lady, no wonder. It is unexpected that the Woeful Poison Lady is at the Yi clan. These fellows are really bold. The commotion within the city had calmed greatly when they heard this elderly voice. Some people sighed in relief. It seemed that the Ice River Valley was after the Yi clan. Although they had surrounded the city, the Ice River Valley was unlikely to harm the innocents as long as the others do not act recklessly. A couple of white figures slowly walked through the air and arrived. After which, they stopped walking and swept their eyes indifferently over the city. After which, their eyes paused on the center of the city where the Yi clan was located. Following the appearance of Tian Shi's group, another uproar appeared within the city. Numerous exclamations resounded over the place. That is Tian Shi from the Ice River Valley. It is unexpected that even he has come this time around. You are really blind. All you see is Tian Shi, but you have failed to recognize that great being beside him. That is the first elder of the Ice River Valley, Tian Shuangzi. The Ice River Valley has even deployed him. It is rumored that this Tian Shuangzi advanced to the Dou Zun class 10 years ago. The Ice River Valley has really put up a hefty price to capture this woeful poison lady. While the city was in an uproar, the interior of the Yi clan was also extremely uneasy. All the members of the Yi clan were looking at the lineup in the sky with stunned expressions, especially Yi Zhong and the few elders. Their faces were pale white. Tian Shuangzi, Tian Shi. Yi Zhong mouth slightly trembled. Either of these people was enough to destroy the current Yi clan. Now that the two of them were together, this Yi clan. Woeful poison lady. Since when did our Yi clan hide the woeful poison lady? An elder opened his mouth and questioned in panic. The people on his sides pondered his questions after hearing him. A moment later, they seemed to have recalled something. Is it Xiao Yan's group? The woeful poison lady is among them? Yi Zhong and the other few elders suddenly understood something. Their bodies trembled. Finally, they understood who the culprit was. What is there to panic about? It is not as though we are asking you to fight to the death with them. A faint voice suddenly sounded while Yi Zhong's group was panicking. Yi Zhong turned his eyes, only to see an elderly figure slowly appearing in the courtyard. That person was naturally Tian Huazunja. Yi Zhong and the others did not dare to slight Tian Huazunja. They could not afford to offend the Ice River Valley, but neither could they offend the person in front of them. At that moment, they could only reveal a bitter expression. Being caught in between two enormous beings was the most miserable fate. Tian Huazunja placed his hands behind him. His eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at the sky in the distance. His sight seemed to have penetrated through the air as it paused on the white cotton-clothed, old man beside Tian Shi. Dou Zun Ha. They have still found this place, Tian Huazunja softly muttered to himself. A soft sound also suddenly appeared by his side. Tian Huazunja turned his head only to see a young figure standing on the building eaves. His body stood as straight as a spear while a sharp aura was vaguely being emitted. Looking at his appearance, who else could it be other than Xiao Yan? Ugh, they are indeed resourceful to be able to find us here. How is the little fairy doctor? Tian Huazunja moved. He appeared beside Xiao Yan and asked. Soon. However, she cannot fight now. Xiao Yan slightly nodded as he answered. This time around, the Ice River Valley has sent some truly troublesome people. I will most likely be delayed by that old fellow. A grave expression flashed across Tian Huazunja's eyes. The current situation was not a good one. If he was restrained by a Dou Zun, Tian Shi would definitely attack Xiao Yan. The current Xiao Yan would likely have difficulty dealing with an expert at the peak of the Dou Zone class. Moreover, there were still quite a few similarly strong Ice River Valley's elders. Elder Yi Zhong, please rest assured. This matter is something caused by my group. Your Yi clan will not be implicated in it. Xiao Yan turned his head and faced the white faces of Yi Zhong's and the others. He revealed a slight smile before finally turning his eyes to Tian Huazunja. He smiled and asked, Old Mr. Yao, do you dare meet this Ice River Valley with me? Cuckoo, the old me has even seen elite Dou Shings back then, much less such a lineup, Tian Huazunja laughed. Xiao Yan chuckled. He raised his head and looked at the many white figures in the sky. A wave of pride surged from his heart. He had never feared fighting anyone ever since he had arrived in the Central Plains. Today, he would let this Ice River Valley know that they needed prepare a good set of teeth if they wanted to grind his hard bones. Xiao Yan's pride surged to the sky as his feet stepped through empty air and shot to the sky. After which, he paused a short distance in front of Tian Shi's group in front of a countless number of gazes. Tian Huazunja followed close behind. Old demon Tian Shi, you fled quite quickly the last time. It is unexpected that you have summoned so many reinforcements. Xiao Yan's feet stepped onto the sky as he faced Shi Tian, who was holding a snake-shaped walking stick, on the other side. He involuntarily mocked. Tian Shi's expression involuntarily became a lot darker when he heard Xiao Yan's mockery. He said with a dense voice, "Brat, you can just gain the advantage of words. Once you land in the hands of the old me will let you understand what is called a fate worse than death." A person who only managed to last one exchange dares to speak such arrogant words. Tian Huazunja grinned as he mocked. Seeing Tian Huazunja open his mouth, a terror also flashed across Tian Shi's eyes. Clearly, he still possessed a deep memory of the dangerous battle from the last time. Haha, this friend should be the person who defeated Tian Shi, right? Might I inquire your name? The white cotton-clothed, old man stared at Tian Huazunja and laughed. Tian Hua. So it is actually Tian Huazunja. The old me is the first elder of the Ice River Valley, Tian Shuangzi. The old man smiled in a seemingly friendly manner. However, his eyes rotated as he said, "This friend, today's matter is the grudge between my Ice River Valley and the woeful poison lady. Will you agree if the old me asks you not to intervene?" Tian Huazunja laughed, but he did not reply. All he did was simply shake his head. The smile on Tian Shuangzi's face was not reduced when he saw this. He continued to speak with a smile, "In that case, the old me can only stop you. There is no need to hold back." Tian Huazunja returned the smile. However, a faint chill had already appeared within his eyes. Where is the woeful poison lady? Could she be hiding again? Tian Shi felt a little reassured when he saw the two exchanging tit for tat. He swept his gaze around him, but still failed to find the little fairy doctor's figure. He coldly laughed, "Today, my Ice River Valley has formed a city-locking formation around Yi City. None of you can flee." Xiao Yan's eyes gently drifted over Tian Shi. A faint chill also flashed within his dark black eyes. "Cuckoo, there is no need to delay any longer. Things might change if you delay for too long. Leave this person to me. Hopefully, you will not make things go awry again. Otherwise, the valley chief will not let you off easily." Tian Shuangzi's old sharp eyes swept over the city. Immediately, he frowned. His sharp instincts told him that it was best to stop speaking to the people in front of him. Tian Shi nodded. His gaze was dark and ruthless as it turned to Xiao Yan. He laughed in a savage manner, "Brat, I want to see just who can rescue you this time around." Xiao Yan's expression was calm. Majestic Dou Qi began to slowly circulate within his body. "Tsk tisk, Elder Tian Shi, this person is the target of my Hall of Souls. May I know if you can leave him to me to deal with?" Just as Tian Shi was about to attack, a dense black fog suddenly rushed over from the distance. After which, it appeared in the sky. A strange laugh resounded as it did so. Xiao Yan's calm expression instantly turned dangerous when this black fog appeared. His eyes revealed a ferocious expression as he looked at the black fog a short distance away. He spat out, "Hall of Souls. Tsk, it is really unexpected. It has only been a few years since we last met, but you have advanced to the Dou Zone class. The old fellow's eye for choosing a disciple is really quite good." However, regardless of how good his eyesight is, he was still ultimately captured by this protector. Ha ha. The black fog churned and transformed into a black figure. A strange laugh, that caused Xiao Yan's eyes to suddenly turn blood red, was once again emitted. A shocking killing intent surged out of Xiao Yan's body like a volcano. Both of his eyes were blood red as a voice that contained an incomparable killing intent slipped between his teeth, one word at a time. Protector. Wu. Upon sensing the wild killing intent that surged out of Xiao Yan's body, the eyes of the entire city carried some surprise as they looked at him. She was also a little startled. Immediately, he thought about the change. It seemed that Xiao Yan should have some kind of grudge with the Hall of Souls since long ago. TSK, not a bad killing intent. It is much stronger than the you back then, who only knew how to borrow the strength of others and act mightily because of it. That black fog also rippled slowly when glared at with Xiao Yan's blood-red eyes. Protector Y's cold laughter was immediately emitted. Xiao Yan's blood-red eyes stared intently at Protector Wu. It was a long while later before he inhaled a deep breath of air. His hands trembled as he suppressed the explosive fury and killing intent within his heart. His voice had also become a little hoarse due to his fluctuating emotions. You deserve to die. Whether the old me deserves to die is not up to you as a younger generation to evaluate with such arrogant words. Protector Wu smiled coldly and said, the old me is even able to capture Yao Chen, much less you, this useless disciple. Xiao Yan's expression was deadly. He waved his hand and the earth demon puppet, which was emitting a bright silver glow, flashed and appeared. A ripple rose around the black fog of Protector Wu when he saw the appearance of the earth demon puppet. A surprised voice was emitted, it is actually a puppet. It is unexpected that after so many years, you are still only able to rely on outside strength. Protector Wu, this puppet can match an 8-star Dou zone. However, you can rest assured that you can simply leave this puppet to the old me. All you need to do is capture this brat. She by the side smiled and spoke in a faint voice. In that case, I will trouble Elder Shi. Relax, once I capture this brat, the old me will hand him over to Elder so that you can vent your anger properly. Protector Wu laughed in a sinister manner after hearing his words. With Protector Wu's current strength, he might not be afraid of this puppet, but it would be somewhat troublesome to deal with. He could save a lot of effort if Shi were to intervene and restrain it. Relax, I don't require the puppet to deal with you. Ridicule flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes. He could sense that Protector Wu had also become much stronger when compared to back then. Based on his guess, he should be around the level of an 8-star Dou zone. This training speed was quite great. From the looks of it, capturing Yao Lao back to the Hall of Souls had really benefited him. Your tongue is as razor-sharp as it was before, Protector Wu faintly smiled. His foot immediately stepped forward. A clanging metallic sound was emitted from the black fog. Immediately, a black metal chain, with a black fog lingering over it, was extended from the black fog like a poisonous snake. It surrounded Protector Wu's body. A cold glint was flashing on the tip of the chain. Relax, you will be able to see Yao Chen again very soon. At that time, this protector will let that old fellow know that not a single person my Hall of Souls wants will be able to escape. Xiao Yan's expression was cold and indifferent. A jade-green flame slowly surged out of his body. His hand was clenched and the enormous heavy Xian ruler appeared. The heavy ruler was slightly inclined as it was pointed at Protector Wu. Xiao Yan said, "Your life will be taken by me today." Tisk. Protector Wu merely laughed in a chilly manner in the face of Xiao Yan's words. Black fog surged and the dark black chain that lingered around him suddenly trembled. It immediately transformed into lightning as it shot straight toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's hand tightly gripped the heavy ruler. His eyes did not contain even the slightest ripple. His feet were gently shifted as the black-colored lightning penetrated the sky, shooting toward to his shoulder. Clang! A jade-green flame lingered over the heavy ruler. Xiao Yan turned his wrist and the heavy ruler carried a hot fire glow and ruthlessly hacked at the chain. Under the high temperature of the glazed lotus heart flame, the strange, black fog, that lingered over the chain, swiftly disappeared. Humph. Protector Wu was slightly startled as he sensed the enormous force being transmitted from the chain. Immediately, he let out a cold smile. His 10 figures formed many afterimages. After which, one could hear wave after wave of the sizzling sound of rushing wind. 10 black-colored chains shot out of his body. They swiftly entangled in the air and formed a huge black chain spear. Go! A soft cry sounded and the enormous black-colored chain lance rushed forth in a lightning-like manner from the strange, black fog. It approached Xiao Yan within a flash. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed when the black-colored chain lance disappeared. His legs swiftly took a couple of steps back. After which, his heavy ruler suddenly drew a couple of mysterious arcs. 6-joint body flowing ruler, 6-joint fire. Afterimages appeared as the heavy ruler was suddenly swung. A fire glow appeared on the top of the ruler. After which, it carried a sharp ruler glow and whizzed out. The ruler glow had just left the ruler when the space in front of it became distorted. An enormous chain lance broke through the air and revealed itself. It carried a frightening wind as it appeared in front of a countless number of gazes. Finally, it ruthlessly collided with that ruler glow. Bang! A shockingly loud sound appeared. A vast, mighty energy ripple spread out in a ring-like fashion. A silver glow flashed under Xiao Yan's feet as his body swiftly withdrew. A mere 2-star Dou Zong dares to collide head-on with this protector. You are really seeking death. Protector Wu gave a dense smile. The black glow on his finger flashed as it suddenly pressed against the empty air. Split. Swoosh 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 swoosh. After Protector Wu's voice sounded, the swiftly spreading energy ripple suddenly emitted the intense sound of splitting wind. Immediately, 10 black figures suddenly rushed over like black-colored lightning. Their target was all the fatal spots around Xiao Yan's body. Xiao Yan knit his brows slightly after sensing that his entire body had been locked onto. However, his great battle experience allowed him to avoid panicking. The heavy ruler in his hand danced and numerous ruler afterimages appeared in a densely packed manner, transforming into layer after layer of defenses. Clang 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 clang. This brat is nothing after having lost his puppet. Tianxi was suspended in the air by the side. He involuntarily let out a cold smile as he shook his head when he saw Xiao Yan being continuously defeated. Disdain flashed across his eyes. The layers upon layers of ruler shadows swiftly disappeared following the crazy attacks by the black-colored chains. By relying on his own strength, Xiao Yan did indeed have difficulty fighting against an 8-star Dou Zong. Fortunately, his true fighting strength did not match the strength on his surface. When the final layer of ruler shadows disappeared, a bright silver glow surged out of his body. His body trembled and transformed into many afterimages that withdrew in a lightning-like fashion. Swoosh swoosh. The black-colored chains followed like shadows. Those afterimages had just appeared when these chains suddenly arrived and shattered them into nothingness. However, it was fortunate that Xiao Yan was faster than Protector Wu's fighting speed after having used the 3000 lightning movement. Xiao Yan, is this the ability you relied on to come to the Central Plains region? It is a joke if you wish to rescue Yao Chen with this strength of yours. A cold glint flashed across Protector Wu's eyes as he looked at Xiao Yan, who was as agile as a monkey. He immediately emitted a cold, ridiculing laugh. The silver glow flashed through the sky, and Xiao Yan appeared 100 meters away. He completely ignored Protector Wu's hooting as he raised his head and revealed a ferocious smile to Protector Wu. The seal formed by both of his hands suddenly changed. Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change, First Change. Following the formation of the seal, a green-colored flame suddenly erupted from Xiao Yan's body before swiftly withdrawing again. Xiao Yan's aura suddenly soared when the green-colored flame shrank back into his body. Secret technique. Insignificant skill. Protector Wu let out a dark, cold smile in the face of Xiao Yan's soaring aura. He was completely unconcerned about it. This is, the Burning Flame Valley's Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Tian Shi by the side was slightly startled after seeing Xiao Yan use this technique. After which, he cried out in surprise. Protector Wu, you should be careful. This Skyfire 3 mysterious change is the top-tier secret technique of the Burning Flame Valley. I do not know how it managed to land in this brat's hand. If this secret technique is unleashed until the third change, his strength would at least be raised by 3 stars. However, those who can use this secret technique to the third change can be counted with one's fingers even in the Burning Flame Valley. TSK Tisk, it's only 3 stars. This is insufficient to allow this brat to escape this protector's palm. That Protector Wu coldly laughed when he heard Tian Shi's words. Xiao Yan acted as though he did not hear the conversation of these two. His face was indifferent. After which, his hand seal changed once again and a wave of invisible flame erupted from his body. Skyfire 3 mysterious change, second change. Xiao Yan's aura continued to soar after this invisible flame erupted. This time around, the expressions of even Tian Shi and Protector Wu changed. This was because Xiao Yan's aura had currently already soared to the point where it was near the 6-star level. This brat actually possesses 2 types of heavenly flames. No wonder he manages to experience such a great increase in his strength when he uses the Skyfire 3 mysterious flame. Tian Shi's expression slightly sank. A Skyfire 3 mysterious flames that consisted of 2 types of heavenly flame. This was something that even Tang Zhen from the Burning Flame Valley didn't possess. No wonder he has the courage to come to the Central Plains. He does indeed possess a trump card. Protector Wu spoke. However, his heart gradually felt a little uneasy. This Skyfire 3 mysterious change had 3 changes. Xiao Yan had already reached the 6-star level after 2 changes. If he were to use it another time, would his strength not, at the very least, reach the 7-star level? It is rumored that each time a change of the Burning Flame Valley's Skyfire 3 mysterious change is used, the energy that is formed is extremely wild and violent. Even some of their elders don't dare unleash the third change. With this brat's ability, he should have yet to reach that level. Protector Wu felt a little relaxed after comforting himself within his heart. He was about to raise his head when he saw Xiao Yan on the opposite side changing the seal formed by his hands. His face instantly stiffened. Xiao Yan's eyes stared firmly at Protector Wu as his black fog was rapidly fluctuating. The ferocious smile on Xiao Yan's face was slowly widened. At the same time, a dense white-colored flame suddenly erupted from his body in front of a countless number of stunned eyes. Skyfire 3 mysterious change, third change.